Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, I wanted to conduct an update on the ongoing civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia. And right now, I wanted to focus on the Tigray region. So, obviously, Tigray is now a de facto fully independent nation state. Obviously, there is probably some things that, well, clearly there are some things that have to be done prior to that officially occurring. But right now, it does have its own governance. It has its own military, and the Tigray nation state continues to be the victim of continued aggression by the despotic regime of Eritrea. Again, one of the most despotic, tyrannical nation states on the planet Earth at this point. And the regime of Abiy Ahmed to the south. And it would appear that Abiy Ahmed, the ruler, the warlord of the former state of Ethiopia, continues to gravitate towards becoming that sort of a tyrannical ruler, just like we see further to the north in the despotic state of Eritrea. Abiy Ahmed continues to ratchet up plans in terms of enhancing regime security services that are designed to keep him in power. And why that is continuing, we also know that the civil war in the Oromo region continues as well, with the Oromo Liberation Army fighting against Abiy Ahmed's Prosperity Party. And that obviously continues. The recent offensive operation or counteroffensive operation by Abiy Ahmed against OLA redoubts and strongholds in both western Oromia and southern Oromia have failed, and the Oromo Liberation Army continues with its long-term, almost inverted anaconda strategy against the regime of Abiy Ahmed. Now, going back up here to the Tigray region continues to be under siege. The tyrannical regimes of both Eritrea and the Abiy loyalist governments continue to cut off Tigray from its ability to receive food and other humanitarian aid that is required because of the ongoing conflict that is taking place. And obviously, Western Tigray continues to be occupied by factions of both the Abiy loyalist formations and the certain elements of the state of Eritrea as well. Furthermore, we are continuing to see a uptick in fighting taking place in northern Tigray along the border with Eritrea. Lately, within the past 24-48 hours, there have been fairly credible reports that both armies, the Tigrayan Defense Forces and the Eritrean Army, have been trading artillery duels back and forth. The Tigrayan Defense Forces do possess a certain amount of captured artillery and multiple launch rocket systems that have been acquired from the ongoing conflict, and we have seen both sides recently, again within the last 24-48 hours, trading artillery duels back and forth, and there are reports of casualties on both sides. Now, that's about it in terms of what is happening on the ground. We do want to make it very well aware in terms of what is happening in this ongoing conflict. Obviously, a lot of folks are paying a lot of attention to what's going on in Ukraine from a humanitarian perspective, but I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt what has happened inside of Tigray, especially in the early stages of the conflict, when most of the Tigray region was occupied by those despotic forces from Eritrea and Abiy Ahmed's regime. The atrocities that were committed inside of the Tigray region were on a scale unparalleled in other areas of the world in terms of ongoing humanitarian crises and ongoing fighting that is taking place. Again, prior to the war between Russia and Ukraine, this was and quite literally was the largest conflict taking place on the planet Earth, with very large forces on both sides of the equation. The Tigrayan Defense Forces exceed 200,000 personnel now. At the start, obviously, they did not have that kind of manpower ability, and only through mobilization and ongoing hostilities did the Tigray region find itself in a situation where it had to raise that sort of fighting force. Obviously, the despotic state of Eritrea requires state-sponsored servitude from every male and female that is born inside of the despotic state of Eritrea. So, irregardless of if you are a male or a female, you are required to serve in the Eritrean armed forces, and that stint of service could last anywhere from 2 years to 20 years. So normally the Eritrean army has anywhere from 250 on up to some reports indicate as many as 500,000 personnel, depending on what is currently happening in terms of warfare. And then obviously to the south, you have a variety of regional forces and federal forces belonging to both the Oromo Liberation Army, Oromo Regional Forces, Amhara Regional Forces, Fano, a B Loyalist Formation. So again, you're looking at, if you take into all sides of this conflict, you're looking at quite literally well over or close to 1 million persons under arms in these ongoing civil war in the former state of Ethiopia. But that's what we wanted to cover today real quick. There is renewed fighting taking place in the northern border areas between the Tigrayan Defense Forces and the Eritrean Army, and obviously sporadic fighting in other locales as well. But that's what we have for today. We'll keep our eye on the situation and obviously report what is occurring. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great day.